Hi everybody, this is just a short informal video documenting the French polishing process on the last guitar. French polish is a way of applying shellac. Shellac, of course, is a naturally occurring resin excreted by insects indigenous to India and Southeast Asia. I also add a few other resins, sandorac for hardness, mastic for flexibility, benzoin for added gloss. I add the dry ingredients. Here I am adding them to what is a coffee bean grinder, and that pulverizes the solids to a powder form. At which point I added to, in my case, 200 proof ethyl alcohol. And then try to dissolve as much of it as I can overnight, shaking it occasionally. And then by the next day I filter and decant it into a second container. You can see in the bottom of the original container the residue is actually bugs and twigs, bark, because the resin is originally excreted into trees and gets raked out of the trees. My recipe, given to me by Sergei de Jong 10 or 11 years ago, requires 3 different stages of boiling the mixture afterwards, and then I apply it in the fairly typical French polish manner. My fad is simply cotton batten on the inside and a square of old cotton t-shirt material that has been washed many times so that the lint doesn't get deposited in the finish. I initially start off with circular motions and transition to directional motions, which isn't a big deal. It's as many different people there are French polishing. That's about how many different ways there are to do this process. Everybody's got their own quirks and their own ways of doing it. I've only been French polishing for maybe the last 55 or 60 guitars, all through the 70s, 80s, 90s. I was blowing lacquer like everybody else, but I switched to French polish because it's such a nice thin film that adds depth visually and has very low damping properties, and it's just a nice process. I love doing it. It's challenging, but it's one of my favorite processes in the whole guitar building. And here's the finished product. Nice depth, good gloss. I'm happy with the finished product, and bye for now.